Stuart Stevens. I think Stuart Stevens is also with the Lincoln Project. Stuart Stevens has a prescient message on the Republican Party. And I think people need to listen to what he's saying in detail, because in effect, he's saying it doesn't really matter anymore if Trump stays within the party or Trump goes, because now the party is Trump. And we're not talking about Trump the person, but Trump the evil, Trump the caustic person, Trump the person who doesn't care about humanity, Trump, all of that. So let's go ahead and listen to that, and then we'll take it on the other side.
As Donald Trump faces a potentially historic indictment, Republicans are rallying to his defense. The theory among those Republicans seems to be that this indictment will help Trump shore up his base in the Republican presidential primary. But heading into this tumultuous moment, most Republican voters were already expressing some reservations about Trump as a candidate. An NBC News poll from earlier this year found that only 33% of Republican primary voters say they support Trump more than they support the Republican Party. 62% say they support the party over Donald Trump. So are Republicans making a mistake when they assume that defending Trump is their only option?
You know, I think that poll is a little misleading because the Republican Party has become Donald Trump. Mm-hmm. So it's not really much of a choice. There's no anti-Trump movement of any size in the Republican Party. What happens if you oppose Trump? You're Liz Cheney. They throw a Cheney out of the party. So it's an easy thing to say, well, I don't support Donald Trump. You know, I support the party more than Donald Trump, when you're really saying the same thing. Look, this is where the Republican Party has ended up. It began when they accepted Donald Trump. When Donald Trump went out and called for a Muslim ban in December of 2015, everyone knew in the party that if the party stood for anything, it was the Constitution. This was a religious test. They knew this, but they didn't stand up to Trump. And, you know, there was this thing that the Republican Party used to say when I worked in it, the character counts. And that was right. And this is now all unfolding. And it's just beginning. You have to realize the majority of the Republican Party does not believe that Joe Biden is a legally elected president. So play that out. What does it mean? It means they live in an occupied country. So that not only gives them a reason to do whatever it takes, to some, it gives them an obligation. And I think this is just beginning. I think the Republican Party is shameful in not standing up for the rule of law, which is what this is. The reason there's a former president being indicted is because the Republican Party nominated and elected a criminal. It's no more complicated than that.
What do you think, you know, one of the things that Trump has been saying in recent days is, if they can get me, they can get you. Can you unpack that a little bit for me, and why you think that is so resonant with the GOP in this particular moment?
Well, it's all about grievance. The organizing principle of the Republican Party now is fear. Think about it. It's fear of these hordes coming over the border. It's fear of the rapists and the criminals coming from Mexico. It's fear that there are these large, powerful forces in the world out there that have control us. That when the party once believes, like when Ronald Reagan was president, if you were born in America, you had won life's lottery. There were inequalities in America, but nobody was disadvantaged because they were American. That's now been turned on its head. And Trump, to be born in America, means that you're a victim. You're a chump. There are these powerful forces out there. So once you become into this victim's mentality, that's what Trump is rallying. And really, it's all about race. It's always been about race. When they tried to, all the votes that they said that they were illegal on January 6th, when 57% of the party voted not to certify the election, where were they? Atlanta, Detroit, Philadelphia. Why were they suspect? Because they were predominantly African-American votes. So, you know, the country's headed to become a minority-majority party. There's nothing that the Republican Party can do to stop that. And what you're seeing here is playing out is this sort of attempt to stop the inevitable.
Yeah.
And instead of doing what the party should have done, which is do the hard work to appeal to these non-white voters, they've gone the other way. It's pretty much officially a white grievance party now.
And that is sad. That is really sad. Because the grievance is against all the wrong people, you know? The grievance should be against the corporatocracy that's creating all the problems, right? But somehow it's hard to get that across when all your stations are controlled, in fact, by that corporatocracy. We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number one, subscribe to our channel. And number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.